life got turned upside down. I went from having a son that was, by our world standards, quote unquote, normal, to severely mentally and physically handicapped. When suffering hits, we really come face to face with our theology. We really come face to face with like, hey, Jacob, Melissa, I heard you both pray to me that Pierce is mine. Do you really believe that Pierce is mine? Then trust me. I'm big enough for your tears. I'm big enough. So come to me. Let me hold you. And let's get back out there on the battlefield together. Great things have come out of this valley. And great things will continue to come out of this valley. That doesn't mean the valley's not sad. Doesn't mean the valley's not hard.
Do you think yourself 10 years ago would have understood this perspective?
Oh, no way.
Welcome back to the MakeReady Podcast. My name is Brian Sims, and today I sit down with Jacob Robinson. Now, Jacob is one of the first people that I think of when the topic of servant leadership comes up. The way that he leads his family, the way that he leads his business, they are all incredible examples of how men should lead in every area of their life, even the hard ones, which we will talk about today. So sit back. I hope you're encouraged. Let's go. Jacob Robinson.
Yes.
I am finally over the fact that you beat me for student body president at Texas A&M University in 2009?
2010.
It was 10. It's 2010.
Yeah, it was 10. It was 10. I have to think about it too. I think it was 10. Yeah.
It feels like forever ago.
Oh my gosh, man. I employ mostly high school kids now, and the age thing is brutal. We're not that old. But they remind you how old you are. And I made the mistake. So next week I turn 37. And somebody announced it at our team meeting the other day. And we mistakenly let the team guess how old I was turning.
Oh gosh. What did they say?
Unanimous north of 45. And so
wisdom. That was all
that's
based
right,
on
that's right.
wisdom.
It's the hairline.
Oh,
it's all the above. But yes. So back 2010.
Yeah, but we were talking about the hairline's intentional. I mean, this is all
the hairline is it's starting to go, so we're going to go under my terms. So yes, so it is intentional right now.
Yes.
Live
intentionally.
That's right.
Live intentionally.
That's right.
Well, man, I want to hear the story of what you've been doing for the past 15 years now. I mean, we've talked maybe once.
Yep.
Since we were at school together.
Yep.
And I've LinkedIn watched you from afar.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Because LinkedIn only tells the truth in people's
exactly.
lives.
And it summarizes it perfectly.
Exactly. Every day, it's only wins all the time. So yes.
Catch me up.
Yeah, man. So, I tell people all the time, being student body president was one of the greatest things ever. It was a fun year. It was a hard year. That year was like a bunch of different random things that came up. But what it did, more than anything, it was a great blessing in my life. And I always jokingly say it was one of the greatest curses in my life. What it allowed me to do was meet a ton of people from all around the world, frankly. And what it did was open my eyes that there's a million jobs out there. I think I went into college with this very narrow mind of like, there's like 5-6 jobs out there. I'll just go do one of those.
What was your major in?
I was an ag leadership major. Okay. Technically, to be fair, I was a leadership studies major, but the university doesn't recognize that anymore.
They don't?
They don't. The degree does not exist anymore. I found this out the hard way. I was speaking to a class, and they're like, that's not a degree
what is
anymore.
That?
I was
what
like,
is that?
Y'all got
Did you really go to school?
I'm like, my diploma still works though, right? Like it still counts. So I now just say ag leadership. It's easier. But it was the leadership studies degree in the ag school. Mm-hmm. And so I left school completely and utterly confused at what I wanted to do in life. And so I went on this really interesting journey for a while. I think I had been around, I know I had been around worldly, successfully people. And I mean, those people can be godly people too, but by the world's standards, monetary, titles, whatever it may be, all at the top of the top, right? Mm-hmm. Like when A&M introduces you to people, they're introducing you to the people that give money back to A&M, right? So they've done something monetarily.
The guys that seem to have it together for
That's
sure.
right. And so when I left, I was like, I don't even know where to start. I had amazing family. I've got amazing parents. My dad's had a very successful career. And so I just left on this wandering journey. So I got married right after school to my amazing wife. And she had a real job. She graduated with a real degree. And so she went to work at PwC in Houston. So I followed her to Houston and really just kind of had this attitude of like, I guess I'll just figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I worked at an oil and gas company, realized day 2 I was terrible at it, and I didn't want to be there anymore. They were gracious with me. They stuck with me about 6 months till I pulled the ripcord. I was like, hey, I'm going to get out of here. And they're like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dang it. We hate to see you go. Kind of thing. And so then I went and worked in ministry. I worked at Second Baptist Church, large church in Houston.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. I worked there for about a year and a half. I ran their adult sports programs. So
Second Baptist is huge.
Huge. And so their adult sports programs. So think about is running intramurals for the church, but you're catering to the entire city. Right. So, I mean, it's not just for members of Second Baptist.
It's like church softball league on a different level.
That's right. So you had football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, the whole thing. So I was running those programs and doing ministry work, really my ministry hours were from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., right? Out there on the softball field or football field, whatever it may be, just getting to know people from all different walks of life. So I was there for a year and a half. Kind of thought I was like, I really guess I think by now I didn't really have a thought of like what would be next, or I think I just thought I'd be there kind of deal. Then the janitorial company that cleaned Second Baptist, the owner and I got to know each other. He said, hey, do you want to come do sales for me? Sure. Never thought about it. Sounds great. I'll go be a janitor. Sales at a small janitorial company actually means operations, which actually means you're cleaning. Right. So I learned out really quickly that I was doing no sales. I was just cleaning buildings every evening. And so, I did that for a few months, had a mentor in my life. At that time, he said, hey, I think you need to come work for me and come sell insurance. And so I was like, sure, I'll do that. And so I did a stint at Northwestern Mutual. I was there for a year and a half. And frankly, I loved that job. Mm-hmm. I was pretty good at it. Come to find out, I enjoyed talking to people. It's relational, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they set you up for success because you don't have to do a lot of the thinking. You've got a lot of back office support that helps you do a lot of the thinking.
Yeah, it's a massive organization.
You go and just get to know somebody. Mm-hmm. Man, that's great. I can do that, right? I can pound the pavement. I can talk to a stranger. I can get in front of you. Let's go do that. And was there a year and a half and was doing really well. And was that at that point I was like, this is what I will be doing. Kind of had the futuristic thought of, man, I can be here for X amount of years. I can build out a team underneath me, the whole kind of thing. And then God had a different plan. Went to lunch. I went to lunch in the Galleria area in Houston one day with a guy I met. You rewind the tape back. I met Mark Toon right when I moved to Houston. I coached first grade baseball at Second Baptist. And there was a kid on the team named Hudson Toon. And Mark was his dad. Mark is a great guy. You didn't know who really Mark was. He just kind of flew under the radar, but just a really nice guy. And he kind of just took me under his wing, and we would talk work and business. And I mean, knowing him for 3 years, I still really didn't know what he did or what did he do on a daily basis. I knew he had a really nice house, and I was like, I don't know what you do. Yeah, you do well. I don't know what you even do though. And so he came to me. We went to lunch, and he said, hey, I've got this crazy idea. Kind of in the second half of my career now. I want to help young entrepreneurs launch a business. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome, man. Anybody I can introduce you to? He's like, no. He's like, think of some ideas for me, and like let's go see if we can find the right people. Okay, sounds good. So I went back and I thought about it, and within the cleaning business, I was privy to kind of discover this like subcategory in the construction cleaning space. So think about building out a hotel or an office building, or apartment complex, whatever it may be. They always have to have somebody come in and do the final clean on it, and the general contractor hires that company. So I said, hey, I think you could make some money in this. I have no proof of that, but my gut tells you could make money here. He said, great, put together a business plan for me. Well, remember, I was an ag major. I didn't know what that meant. And
there wasn't Chat GPT.
It was not Chat GPT. There was nothing. So I went back home, stared at my computer for a little bit, cobbled together what I thought was a very impressive Excel model until I showed my CPA wife. And then she asked me to leave the room so she could actually make it a model. And so I knew nothing about nothing, right? I didn't know anything. So I sat down with him. I said, hey, here's the deal. I think you can make money in this. I don't really know how, but I think if you found the right person to go hustle, I think you could do that. And he said, great. When do you want to start? I said, no, I'm not doing it, man. Dude, it took me.
Did he have this idea the whole time?
The whole time.
Yeah.
It was a complete setup. and I said, man, I've been at Northwestern a year and a half. Do you know how hard that business is? Like, I've just figured it out. Like, I feel like I just turned the corner. I'm not going anywhere. We're about to have our first kid. I ain't going anywhere, dude. He said, I tell you what, go talk to Melissa about it and then let me know. And so being the great husband that I am, I was like, deal, because she's going to say no. And then I can just blame her, right? Like I can say, oh man, I would have done it, but Melissa said I can't do it. Man, bummer, kind of thing. So Melissa was 8 months pregnant. We went to dinner. I said, hey, Mark's got this crazy idea. He wants me to leave Northwestern and go start this cleaning business. She said, you should do it. I was like, how pregnant are you? Like, you're talking crazy. Like, this is nuts. I was like, you understand what could happen, right? She's like, yeah, but think about what could happen. I'm like, what in the world? And so, which is her great support, my parents' great support. I said, just go do it. And so Mark backed me to start my first cleaning company. So I left this quote unquote corporate world. I mean, not sure Northwestern's corporate, but to become an entrepreneur. And somebody asked me a day, like, did you always want to be an entrepreneur? Man, I don't think I knew what that word was until 2017, 2018, until I was one. I was like, oh, I guess maybe that's what I am. So started One Stone Solutions in 2015, 4 days after my son was born. And we just sold that business last November. And so we ran it for 9 years, had about 400 employees, and we were just a big cleaning company. And so that was my first toe in the water of this entrepreneurial journey that I've been on.
Mm-hmm. Building the system.
That's
building the people.
That's it.
So that's step one. What was step two?
Man, it was a crazy journey. 2017 is kind of where our life turned upside down. Out of that, we can kind of circle back to that. Out of that birthed Dig World, what I run now, a theme park,
which is so cool.
Which it's been a lot of fun.
It's been blowing up my LinkedIn.
A lot of good.
Yes,
good,
it's
good.
a success.
That's good. We're paying for that
working.
marketing. It should be blowing up your LinkedIn. And so we did that in 2020. I had the opportunity to start a real estate company with a buddy of mine. And so all of a sudden, I'm this quote unquote serial entrepreneur, and truly that was never on my radar. Like it wasn't like I woke up one day and said, hey, how many companies could I start? Let's just go start a bunch. Honestly, because it's you go bald that way. And so I would not recommend that to anybody. And so we looked up and we were running 3 companies and Lord's plan, we've been able to sell the cleaning business and move out of the real estate business. And so Dig World is my complete focus now and growing that. And the past year's been crazy and the Lord's plan there. But so I am by definition a serial entrepreneur. I've gone to counseling for it. I'm getting okay with saying that out loud.
You've yet to be cured of it.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I'm not going to be cured of it. Melissa's always nervous when I go, hey, so I was thinking, she's like, please don't tell me you have another idea. And I'm like, no, just go with me for a second. But yeah, so I think if my LinkedIn could be a different title, it would probably say serial entrepreneur.
That's fascinating. So let's go back to in between those two stages with your first son.
Yeah.
And everything that went on.
Yeah. So I've got 3 amazing kids. Pierce, who just turned 10 this past Monday.
He's 10.
10, it's crazy. I've got kids in double digits. I've got a daughter, Annie, who's 5, but she would tell me 5.5.
Well, it matters.
That's right. Not 5. Not 5, Daddy.
Yes, my daughter is 6 3/4.
There you go. You get taller when you're 5.5.
Exactly.
Come to find out. Mm-hmm. And then I've got a son who's 20 months right now, and
that's awesome.
He's full blown just little boy destruction
just
mode.
A little bowling ball.
Yeah, I mean, just like the other day I had to buy a new remote because he throws it across the room, shatters it. Like just that kind of stuff. You're like, good arm. Don't do that again. Man. Kind of thing.
Which are hard in the moment, but it's like, golly, everybody tells me that like you're gonna miss these things.
That's right. I guess they go from wrecking remotes to like cars.
Sure.
So this is probably better at this point. It's at least cheaper right now. So Pierce was born in 2015, like I said, 4 days before we started our cleaning business. May 26, 2015. Happy, healthy baby boy. Life was great. I mean, Melissa and I were trying to figure out the first parent stage, right? Like you're like, oh, this is what people talk about. You don't sleep, and they do cry all the time. And like, why is he crying all the time?
Why are we entrusted with this human being?
Right. You're just gonna let me leave this hospital.
Yeah.
Like, just walk out.
You're gonna let me leave with this.
Nobody's coming home with me. Like, I don't even know what to do. I mean, this is how. Like, I'll never forget the day 2. So he was born on the 26th. 27, the doctor comes in, check on mom and baby, just kind of do their routine, checkup day after. And I kid you not, the doctor goes, who put the diaper on? Proudly, puffed out chest. I did. And she goes, you put it on backwards. Oh. Okay. Honestly, logically, it seems better that it snaps in the back, but I guess that makes sense that it snaps in the front. So, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about anything. So, but life progressed just fine. I mean, we were just, like I said, figuring out, we both were working. I was starting a business. Melissa was still at PwC. She had just switched to a real estate company, but life was great. We moved out to Katy. Melissa was born and raised in Katy. Her parents are out there. I've got amazing in-laws. They were helping us take care of Pierce. And then in 2017, when he was almost 2 years old in February, on a Wednesday, he got sick, but just a normal like kid, cold sick, right? Like nothing crazy. Take him to the doctor. Hey, all good. Give him some Tylenol, just let him sleep it off. He'll be fine. Thursday, he got a little bit better. And then Friday, he got worse again. And so she took him back to the doctor. And the doctor said, hey, listen, again, I really just it's just some virus and it'll pass kind of thing. I came home Friday afternoon, and Melissa and I just said, hey, he's just not, something's not right. Like something is not right. He doesn't look right. His eyes don't look right. He doesn't look right. He can't sit up. So we took him to a little ER around the corner, and they said, yeah, honestly, I agree with the doctors. Like, it's just some virus. Like, just go home, give him some Pedialyte. He'll be good to go. Went home, put him to bed. And Saturday morning, we always tell people with little kids, if they sleep too long, you're like, something's wrong, because like there's no way they're actually being this kind to us and letting us sleep this much.
Right.
And so another hour went by, and Melissa said, something's wrong. I'm gonna go check on him, and went in there and found him unconscious in his crib. And I will never forget the screams. I can still hear them in my head from her as a panicked mom. We run out the door, no shoes on, like we still had pajamas on, gym shorts on, run out. We speed back to that little ER that we went to right around the corner from our neighborhood. And I remember just running in, holding him, just yelling, keep him alive, keep him alive. Like he's just limp in my arms. They have no idea what to do, right? I mean, I'm sure they're great doctors, but like that ER is not really equipped for this, right?
Yeah.
So they just start pumping him full of medicine. They can't get him to come to, so an ambulance comes, take us to Texas Children's West Campus out in Katy, where we live. Rush us into the trauma room. They take him back to do a scan. I remember being back there with the doctor and him looking at the image that came up pretty quick. And he said, we need to get him down to the med center. And they called what's called the Kangaroo Crew, which is a Texas Children's ICU transport team. So everybody in this ambulance is an ICU nurse or doctor, and inside it's not just your normal ambulance. Like it's truly an ICU in there. So they load us on the ambulance, or they load Melissa and Pierce on the ambulance. I wasn't allowed to ride with them. I hop in the car with my parents. And they start to take him down to the hospital. What I would later learn is that the head nurse would look at his colleague in the ambulance and say, that dad's not going to see his kid alive by the time we get to the med center. And get us down there. Lord had different plans. Pierce was still alive. Rush us in. They tell us, they come in a couple hours later, say, hey, listen, we finally figured out what it is. He's got bacterial meningitis, and we think he's got one of the worst kinds out there. So we're just going to, it's a waiting game. And man, I didn't know what meningitis was. I remember like when we were at A&M, like a couple kids got it. Like you always hear like a couple college kids getting it. And even then I didn't really know what it was, right? Like I knew I was supposed to get the shot before I went to college. Like that was kind of it. I'm kind of confused. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know what it is. Doctor comes in. It was on this was on Saturday. Super Bowl Sunday in Houston was the next day. And he said, hey, listen, I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I remember, as an optimistic entrepreneur thinking, well, that's pretty bad advice. Like, I'd rather not talk to you again, sir, kind of deal. And, Monday, Pierce seemed kind of like he was on the up and up. And then Tuesday comes, and in the middle of the night, if you know anything about seizures, if you have a seizure that lasts more than 5 minutes, you're going to sustain some type of brain damage. Pierce seized for about 18 hours straight before they put him into a coma. He was in a medically induced coma for 12 days. They weren't sure they were going to be able to pull him out of the coma. They were able to pull him out of the coma. We were in the hospital 75 days. Make a long story short, when we left the hospital, Pierce is now in a wheelchair. He's nonverbal. Haven't heard him talk since that day we went in. He's deaf in both ears. He's epileptic. He has about 100 seizures a day. And I always hate to rate like mental capacity, but if you had to put him on some type of scale, he'd be a 1-year-old, less than 1-year-old. But I always tell people, Pierce is the happiest dude you're ever going to meet in life. He sees the world the way Jesus wants us to see the world. He doesn't care what color your skin is. He doesn't care how much money you make. He doesn't care what car you drive. Could care less what your house looks like. All he wants to know is if you're going to hang out with him.
Just joy.
Just joy. If you're going to be right there with him and play his games that he likes to play, oddly, his favorite games are he loves to hold up like my dress shoes, and like he holds them up and he slaps them. Oh, excuse me. And he like slaps them. And so, like, if you play shoes, we call it shoes. If you play shoes with him, you got a friend for life. If you sit there beside him and help him with his iPad so he can watch his videos that he wants to watch, friend for life. And we learn more about Jesus through my deaf and nonverbal son than I have from any pastor, that I have from any discipleship leader, from any youth minister, anything like that. I've learned more about Jesus and seeing Jesus through the eyes of now my 10-year-old son than I ever could through anybody else. But it wasn't a fun road. It's not a fun road sometimes, right? Like I think a lot of times people sit in the seat that I'm in and they want to talk about all the joy that it brings and this and this. And listen, it does. He brings great joy to my life. He's my pride and joy. I love talking about him. We've built a theme park because of him. Great things have come out of this valley, and great things will continue to come out of this valley. That doesn't mean the valley's not sad. Doesn't mean the valley's not hard. And I don't think Jesus wants us to sit here and go, hey, tell me everything's just great and sunshine and rainbows. Mm-hmm. No, I think Jesus says, hey, I'm big enough for your hard struggles. I'm big enough for your tears. I'm big enough. So come to me. Let me hold you. Let's talk about it. Let's weep together, and let's get back out there on the battlefield together. Mm. And so one of the greatest callings in my life, I'm called to be a husband. I'm called to be a father, but I'm called to be a father of a special needs kid, and that's a calling that I cherish. Not a calling I ever would have signed up for. Not a calling I would have ever raised my hand for, if I'm being completely honest. But it's my calling now, and so we're trying to live every day the best we can. Days are hard. But Pierce is an amazing, amazing little boy, and he's teaching my two younger kids that life's not fair, right? And he teaches them how to care for the least of these, and you can already see that through them. Hey, Pierce is different. They know Pierce is different, and they defend Pierce and take care of Pierce. And Annie, my daughter, now she thinks she's mom 2.0. Sometimes that's a problem, but yeah. So our life got turned upside down. Quite literally overnight. I went from having a son that was, by our world standards, quote unquote, normal, to severely mentally and physically handicapped, and trying to wrestle with that and leave the hospital and go, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do. And here we are 7-8 years later. And Melissa and I we're still calling the doctor yesterday with some questions, right? We still don't know what to do sometimes. And I think that will be a continual journey with him until we all get to hang out in heaven and not use a wheelchair and talk and laugh. And I'm convinced he's going to tell me many stories where he's like, hey, I knew what was going on. You were driving me crazy. All those times, that kind of stuff.
I couldn't tell you,
he's gonna be like, listen, you were driving me nuts. And so he has a cochlear implant on one of his ears. And every now and then I'll look back in the car and he'll just like flip it off.
I'm not talking anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like there's gonna be moments in heaven. He's like, yeah, I had to do that all the time with you guys. Like I just had to get y'all to be quiet, kind of thing. So, but yeah, so that's Pierce, and that's our story, and that's shaped really everything about our lives.
How has that affected you and Melissa?
Yeah, it's a great question. I completely understand. I don't know where these statistics come from. And I mean, there's a joke about all statistics are made up, right? So, the marriage rate in America is not great. Mm-hmm. We know that. We do have data behind that. Then there's another group of special needs parents or parents that have lost a child. That divorce rate is significantly higher than just the average divorce rate that's already too high. And I get why, right? It's hard. Life is hard. Life's already hard, right? Like raising regular kids is hard, right? Like job and life and everything else it's hard already, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not downplaying that. Like it's not like that people have a pass there, but when you add in these complications, I mean, Pierce is a medical complication, he's a physical complication, and he's a financial complication, right? If we're just going to be completely honest, like it takes a lot of money to care for him the way that I want to care for him until he is dead, not me, till he is dead, right? So there's just this weight that's constantly there. And we were blessed that both of us chose to run to Jesus during that time. We are blessed that we both have phenomenal parents, godly parents. That is one of God's kindest and greatest blessings to me. Are my parents and my in-laws. I get choked up talking about them because they were surrounding us while we were trying to figure this terrible storm out. And so we chose to run to Jesus, and we look back at those 75 days, and really we look back to most of the days since then. God's kindness to us has been on Melissa's low days are my high days. And I'm going, hey, listen, we've got this. Like, we can do this. We can do hard things, right? Like, we are built for this. We can do this. I can get on my soapbox and coach, rah, rah, rah. And then on my hard days when I'm down in the dumps and I can't get out of bed, she's like, hey, We got this. And so God's kindness is we've never been down here together. Now we've both gotten sad news together, and we've both been in hard rooms together where doctors have told us really bad, sad things together. Mm-hmm. But as a whole, we've been opposites, which has been great. And so what I've learned a lot of things over these last few years with this, but I've also learned at how good Satan is at operating in the gray zones, what I call the gray zones. The black and whites are the black and whites. You and I know the black and whites. We still screw up in the black and whites.
Right.
Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't do this. Don't take money from this person. We know these things, right?
Easy to define.
And people still fall to them, and we fall to them all the time. The grays are where it really gets you, right? The grays are where Satan comes in and goes, hey, Jacob, it's going to take a lot of money to care for Pierce, right? So you need to go make a lot of money. You need to be money focused day in and day out so that you can be a good dad. And when you're a good dad, then all will be right. And then I can go, oh yeah, that's true. I've got to be money focused. And what happens is I can sit in a room with believers, and there won't be one person there that when I say, hey, I've got to go make a lot of money to care for my son, there's not one person that'll go, hey, I'm not sure that's a great pursuit. We all go, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you look up one day and money's your idol. And all of a sudden you're weighted and you've got so much pressure because you've invented this idol, right? That you're chasing that's never going to be good enough. Enough is never enough. And so for us, the gray zones are where Satan lives, right? What's going to happen when we're dead and gone? Is Annie going to take care of him? Is Spencer going to take care of him? I don't want anything to be a burden for them. What is it going to look like when our parents are gone? All these things, Satan can just put fear. It's just fear, right? It's fear, and Jesus is not of fear, right? That doesn't come from him. We know that. And so when we run to Jesus, easier said than done, when we can actually say, hey, hold on. This is not Jesus talking to me right now. God has a plan. I don't understand the plan. I have not understood the plan. I probably never will understand the plan the way my human mind can understand this plan. So my job is to wake up today, focus on today, and let tomorrow be tomorrow, but today be today. And so Melissa and I, we have to remind ourselves often, hey, today, let's talk about today. Even last night we were talking, hey, hold on. Before we spin out of control here, did Pierce eat a good dinner? He had a great dinner. Okay, that's a win. Hey, today's today. Let's talk about tomorrow. And not to push things off and not to ignore things, but hey, to really, because you can get really bogged down in that kind of stuff. But it's forced us to have real conversations. It's forced us to figure out what is important in life and what's not important in life. One of the greatest blessings of Pierce getting sick was the reprioritization of things. It's not that important anymore. Hey, life is short. I know of and know way too many kids that have died way too young because we were in that room. We've been in ICU rooms where I've heard parents weep because their kids passed away in the next room. I've been in the hospital where a buddy of mine lost his daughter when we were there also. I know way too many kids that have died way too young. And so for me to sit here and fret about, well, did I get this contract? Or what does my bank account look like today? Or what car am I driving or not driving? All those kind of things. I'm going, man, hold on. And so in a very weird way, it's a blessing.
Do you think yourself 10 years ago would have understood this perspective?
Oh, no way, right? Now, listen, I lost one of my best friends in high school. My mom had cancer growing up. So I've experienced death. I've experienced death at a young age when you have to preach your friend's funeral at 18. That's not a normal life event, right? So been there, done that, right? But still then didn't even, I think I probably entered college with probably just a little bit different of a mindset, maybe more of a understanding that life is frail mindset, but never chase this idea of man, greatness can come out of suffering, right? No, I think quite the opposite, right? I think when suffering hits, we really come face to face with our theology. Hey, God, this doesn't quite make sense. I was doing everything right. I was going to church. Heck, I worked at a church, right? I tithe.
I'm doing the things.
We do all the things, man. This wasn't the agreement here.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
I've met the contract.
Right.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you realize you're like, oh yeah, that's called that prosperity gospel thing. And so we really come face to face with our theology. We really come face to face with like, hey, Jacob, Melissa, I heard you both pray to me that Pierce is mine. Do you really believe that Pierce is mine? And that I'm a better parent than both of you? Then trust me. Trust me doesn't make sense sometimes. Trust me, and we can see that at God's kindness is we can see that at a little glimpse. You've got kids, right? When your kid wants ice cream at 8:00 at night, the answer is no. You know why, but you're not going to explain to them the health repercussions of having.
Because even if I explain to them,
right,
they won't understand.
They're not going to understand.
Yeah.
Right. And so how much does our Heavenly Father look at us and go, you can't get it. Just trust me.
Just trust me.
And so we become way too arrogant. We become way too prideful. And so 10 years ago, oh man, no way would I have comprehended this life.
What kind of doors has it opened for you to minister to other people that may be going through the same or similar things?
Yeah, so much, right? I mean, like I'm now the guy. I mean, heck, the only reason I'm here, right? Like I'm here today in this chair because we started a theme park because my son got sick. Okay, that's a pretty good one. I got to be on national television recently because my son got sick, right? Like all of these things, like doesn't happen if Pierce didn't get sick. Now, if you made me like choose, do you want this road or do you want him not to be sick, right? Like, I mean, that's a tough question, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but the doors have been crazy. Now, again, a lot of times they're not fun doors. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to sign up to be the guy that his ministry is special needs parents and or parents that have lost a kid or parents that have gone through, like, that's not really the ministry. Let's do men's ministry. Let's go hunting and fishing, right? Let's do young marrieds ministry. Let's
the fun stuff.
The youth group. Like, let's go on the fun trips.
Yeah, I was made for that.
That's right. Let's go do that one. That
Mm-hmm.
one. Not the one that says, man, go to the hospital and sit with parents that are crying. Go to the one that you need to sit there and text this dad because he's thinking about leaving his wife because life just got turned upside down. He can't handle the pressure anymore. Though that wasn't quite the door that I would have liked to walk through. However, Melissa and I always say all the time, if this is our story and this is our song, then man, we got to show up. And there's great days. There's days that I love doing it. There's days that I don't want anything to part of it, right? And so the doors have been unimaginably opened to things that I never could have understood. And we'll talk about the TV show in a little bit and just like that crazy story of God just continuing to show up in crazy ways where you go, whoa. Gotta take a step back.
I could have never been.
You gotta sit in that for a second. Like, that's crazy. It's not coincidence. It's not luck, whatever it may be. So the doors have been crazy. Now, my challenge is a lot of times I just honestly I don't want to walk through them. And so sometimes I'm too tired. Sometimes I'm too sad. Sometimes I just don't want to do it. I don't want to get sad, right? Like whatever the case may be. Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm probably not as faithful as I need to be. Sometimes as walking through those doors, right? I probably need to be sitting with more people. I probably need to be ministering to more people than I do a lot of times. I think a lot of times I'm just selfish, right? And I think we all are, and that's not my calling. And so I need to probably lean into that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. So the door of being on national television, the door of Dig World. Hey. I want to know more about that. A little bit of a pivot.
Yeah, so Dig World. So everybody's like, yeah, man,
what are you talking about?
Did you
what
always
is Dig World?
Yeah, did you always want to start a theme park? Yeah, no. Yeah, listen. My running joke has been, if I told Melissa, so we started dating freshman year in college. We dated all the way through. We broke up for 20 minutes at some point because
20 minutes. You counted it.
I'm pretty sure I said something stupid. Neither one of us can remember why we broke up for like 20 minutes, but we broke up for 20 minutes. And so we got married, like I said, right after school. And so I said, if I had told her in college, hey, listen, here's my big vision. I'm going to go be a janitor, a theme park guy, and a truck lot guy. You in? Like,
who are you?
Right. I think now she'd be like, oh yeah,
sure,
totally.
She's
I think
the ride.
Like, listen, but if we're honest with ourselves, she probably would have at 21 been like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, that seems weird, right? Like, that's a weird path. So after we got out of the hospital, I think a lot of times people search for why. Why did this happen? Right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times as men too, we need to know, oh, this happened, therefore this is now happening. Oh, okay, that's why that happened. Got it.
We want to redeem things.
We want to redeem things. We want to make purpose out of things. We want to create things. And a lot of times for no other reason than our own selfish gain, because that helps mend my heart a little bit, right? Because if something good can come out of this, then that might just maybe make it just a little bit more okay, right? So there was definitely that into play. Then there was definitely a part of it that was, we realized the importance of community. I mean, every single day, Pierce had somebody by his bedside all day long, 24 hours a day, whether it was Melissa and I, whether it was my parents, whether it was my in-laws, whether it was my sister, whether it was Melissa's sister, whoever it was, or all our siblings, my brother, like all these people, friends. I mean, we had friends that I saw last night that she volunteered to sleep on the ICU floor overnight so that Melissa and I could just get away for one night and just go sleep in a hotel bed across the street. And she didn't have to do that. You don't have to sleep on the cold tile floor, besides my son who's in a coma. And so the amount of community that showed up every single day. I mean, to be completely honest, this is probably the first time I ever said this out loud. There were certain days where like they'd call back to the ICU and the doctor would be like, hey, I think somebody else is here to see you. You're like, tell them I'm not here. Like there were so many people that came, which is an amazing blessing. You're like, I just can't go talk to somebody right now. And so coming out of that, we realized the importance of community. We realized the importance of family. Our doctors told us all the time, one of the indicators of how good Pierce's life is going to be is the family that surrounded him. And so we learned the importance of that the hard way, right? And so we wanted to create something. I needed to create something that tied those two things together, right? I needed to create something that helped me make sense of what just happened. And I needed to create something that could bring people together. And so we became familiar with this idea of Pierce has always loved construction equipment. He's always loved garbage trucks. The greatest day at our house is Wednesday morning and Saturday morning when the garbage men come. And on Saturdays, if he's super lucky, what we'll do is we'll put him in a stroller and we'll walk behind the garbage men for a long time. Awesome. It's an amazing smell all Saturday morning, but that dude just loves it. I bet they love it. Pierce loves it. It's the greatest thing in the world. And so he's the same way with construction equipment. Loves it. So I said, you know what? I think we should create a theme park where we let kids operate real construction equipment. Because that seems normal and that seems easy.
That sounds dangerous.
Right. God, yes. So we set on this crazy idea. So I came home, I told Melissa, I said, hey, go with me here. I think we should create a theme park and we're going to let kids operate construction equipment. And I think we can build it from the ground up because we're Texans and we're just that arrogant, right? Like we're just
because we can do it.
We can do it.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard, right? Build a theme park. Can't be that hard. And so, business partner and I, we set on this journey in 2019 to go raise money. We thought we'd probably have the money raised in 6 weeks. I then set out to raise money. We went through over 240 meetings where people told me no. It took over 3 years to raise the money. And we finally opened the park in March of 2022. It was the longest, hardest business process that I've ever been through. Now, again, I'm not that old, as we've discussed, even though my employees think I am. So maybe more to come. But 248 meetings of no, of hey, you're crazy, you're an idiot, this is never going to work, whatever excuse under the sun. To finally get those doors open was an amazing experience. And so we have a construction theme park where we let kids and adults operate real construction equipment. So you come to our park with your kids, they're going to get to drive real excavators, real skid steers, real UTVs, real mini tractors. They're going to do other theme parky things, that kind of stuff. But truly, they get to operate real construction equipment. Now, yes, it's in a safe manner. Yes, we have the safety precautions around it. Yes, it's been re-engineered to be safe, but it is the real machine doing real things with games and dirt and driving it on tracks and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in the theme park space. So I'm a theme park guy now, and we host birthday parties every weekend. I spend most of my week consumed with how many birthday parties are we running? What field trips are we doing? And so, again, just a very interesting career path that the Lord has put me on. And then now we're in this process of growing franchises across the country.
Man, that's so cool. I remember growing up, my granddad was a county commissioner.
Yeah.
And we went and, stay with them for the weekend. He'd take me to the road and bridge department.
There you go.
And I would sit in all the,
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
backhoes
That's
and
it.
excavators.
That's
and-
right. That's
oh,
right.
my gosh.
That's right.
Dude. I still remember
that's
that.
Right. And things are universal, right? Like that's not going away. And now with the rise of YouTube, kids watch this stuff all the time. They're even more obsessed with it, with Blippi and Handyman Hal and all these characters that are just on this equipment all the time.
Oh, Blippi.
Man, the kids that come in, my favorite thing is the kids correcting the parents on the names of the machines.
Oh, my gosh.
Right, they're 4, and they're like, "That's not this. It's an excavator." And the parents are like, "Whatever," And so it's so much fun watching them do that. But YouTube has the rise of that space for boys and girls. Like one of the misconceptions of the park is like, "Oh, I'm sure it's just boys." I'm like, yeah, boys and girls. Like people love it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a universal thing across the board as a kid. Like we're fascinated with this equipment.
Well, so many parents are looking for something to do with their kids.
Yep.
That's redemptive.
That's right.
They can just be with their kids doing something.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's one of the blessings that we've seen is like truly this idea of, like we said, how do we bring people together? Man, we have witnessed in 3 years of being open, the hundreds of thousands of people that we've seen, grandparents get reconnected with their kids and their grandkids. We've seen parents obviously pour into their kids, aunts and uncles, college roommates that have gotten back together, long lost friends that have gotten back together, people that have said, hey, we had no other reason to come to Houston except to go to Dig World, and we were able to see our friends. And you're going, that's crazy. That is one of the most humbling, crazy things. And I tell people all the time, our kids all the time that work for us, you're gonna have a lot of jobs, and jobs are great, and there's no knock on if your job falls in this category or not. But we are blessed that our job truly gets to create a lifelong memory in somebody's memory bank. If Dig World shuts down tomorrow, if we don't open this weekend, and we never open ever again, we never open another park, there's going to be thousands of kids that can later on in college sit there and go, you know what? I had my 4-year-old birthday party at this place that let me drive real excavators. Like I get to be a part of their story.
No, what?
Exactly. You're like, no, totally, it existed. And so like we get to really be a part of the whole family's journey, right? Memory bank. That's crazy, and it's super humbling. It's an honor, and honestly, for me, it's been between talking about Pierce and opening a theme park. Those are my two avenues most often of sharing the gospel, whether it be with the employees that work for me, whether it be our guests that are there, just treating them differently than they've ever been treated, loving on them, loving on their kids, whatever it may be. Showing people Jesus is at the core of what we are trying to do day in and day out. Do we fail? Yeah, we fail. But day in and day out, how do we love people the way that Jesus would love people is what we're trying to do.
I love that, because a lot of people are reductive in how the gospel is shared. It's like a very, pamphlet driven.
Yep.
I've got to say these right things. Do you believe it or not? Okay, no, next person.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Let's go through the ABCs.
Still next person.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, it's living life in front of people.
That's it.
It's living out the gospel.
I mean, it's when a guest looks at me. I remember one of the coolest things. The guest looked at me and goes, "Why are you doing this?"
Oh, dude.
Oh man, let me tell you why I'm doing it.
Pull up a chair.
I mean, let's go, right? And so like you see in those moments, like, and now what did I do to get to that person at that point? I gave their grandson a hard hat for free. Right? Like how many opportunities, like it's amazing that we are so fortunate that we just get to live in this space where people are walking up to us. They want to be where we're at, and we get to go, hey, let me just host you for the next 2 hours. Mm-hmm. The same way we saw Jesus do throughout the Gospels, day in and day out, hosting people and loving on people. That's the opportunity that we get to do.
Dude, what was it like being on Shark Tank?
Oh, man. That's crazy, right? So, like, we got to be on Shark Tank. We aired this past March 14th. And Shark Tank, they talk about, you go back for a second to the hospital. Talk about something that only God could write, the story that only God could write. I'm in the hospital with my son. Dig World's nowhere on the radar. We're not thinking theme park. I'm not thinking anything like that, right? When we're in the hospital, if you've ever been in a hospital, you know it's probably one of the most aggravating things to try to figure out how to change the channel on the hospital TV.
Gosh, yeah.
It's the worst. Like
They do it intentionally, I'm sure.
We have this amazing technology, and we can't figure out the deadgum TV in the hospital. Like that just boggles my mind.
This is the same TV that was there 20 years ago.
That's right. And you've got to click through every channel to get back to that one channel that you accidentally passed, right? And so we just said, you know what, forget it. We're just going to stop changing the channel. We're just going to leave it on. And so every night after Pierce would go to bed, day after day of just honestly sadness, right? A lot of times, like it wasn't great days in the hospital. I mean, he had to learn how to remove all his limbs and relearn how to, all these things, right? He'd go to bed, and Melissa and I would sit there and we'd watch Shark Tank for no other reason than we wanted to mentally escape the day, right? Let's just watch something where we don't have to think that much, and we can just watch a good TV show. So we watched Shark Tank every day when we were in the hospital. When we left the hospital, I never wanted to see Shark Tank ever again. I never wanted to hear the dun 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 dun, dun ever again, right? Because it just brings back bad memories. So I didn't watch it for years and years and years. We start Dig World, Shark Tank's nowhere on my radar. It's not something we set out to do. And then last March, I get an email to our info account. Hey, do you want to be on season 16 of Shark Tank? Well, clearly this is spam. Clearly they're trying to get in my bank account.
Clearly delete.
Right. And so I nervously respond and changing the bank passwords, all this kind of stuff as you respond. You're like, sure, would love to be on the show, And then this girl calls me and she says, hey, listen, let me just hear your story. I've followed you online. I know all the Instagram ads and I've been to the website, but tell me a little bit more about you and that kind of stuff. So we do a talk for 15 minutes. She goes, hey, listen, I'm just going to fast track you to the end. I think you need to be on the show this year. I was like, well, you're serious, aren't you? This is crazy. I didn't really come in mentally prepared for this. And so
I thought I was talking to somebody in India.
That's right. I thought this was going to be the screening call of the screening call of the screening call, right? And so that was in March of 2024, so last year. And I filmed last September. So flew me out to LA. Just a crazy whirlwind of, I guess at that point it was 48-hour whirlwind. Just an amazing, amazing experience. And so here we are, and I tell this on the show, but getting to stand on that stage and talk to those sharks about this park that we created because of my son, who got sick in 2017, who when we were in the hospital 75 days, we watched Shark Tank. There is no other person to write that story than Jesus himself, right? You could give me all the credit in the world you want. You could go find the best entrepreneur in the world. You find me anybody that can draw that story from 2017 to 2024? No way.
Can't happen.
No way. And so the redemptive story of that, and I don't care if Dig World does, if Dig World doesn't go anywhere, right? That's a cool snapshot of the story that Jesus is writing in this whole journey for us. That's one of the most humbling, crazy things that somebody could ever have done. And so we got to stand on that stage, tell this story, talk about Pierce, share our crazy vision. It went well. We got a deal. Spoiler alert. And now we're selling franchises. And so you look up and you're like, how did we get here? So got to be on Shark Tank. So these things that were never on my bucket list that I'm getting to check off now. Where I'm like, cool, I got to be on a national television show. Listen, they had to apply a lot of makeup to my forehead. And so it was quite an experience going through the whole thing, but it was amazing from start to finish.
Man, that's so cool. Who'd you end up going with?
Robert Herjavec. Yeah, so he now, to be completely fair, he was the only one that gave me a deal, so it was kind of a slam dunk. Let
me think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Going into it, you find out who your sharks are 4 days before you film, and so once we knew my panel, it felt pretty confident. He was the one we were targeting. Mm-hmm. He's got young kids. He's the quote unquote fun shark.
Yeah. I heard he's a great guy.
Great guy. Damon kind of made sense to us too. That would have been a fun one to work with. Cuban doesn't like franchises. Mr. Wonderful, that was kind of a coin flip. We didn't think Lori would go down the route with us. And she was so nice, but she's like, hey, I'm not sure I can add any value, kind of thing. Yeah. I'm in my lane. This is not my lane. Mr. Wonderful was very gracious. Damon went out. He didn't want to be in a business that was so weather dependent, which is totally fair.
Fair enough.
And then so Robert jumped in and it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Golly, dude. So what does life look like now? What are the next steps?
Yeah. So the vision that we cast on the show was, hey, we want to go try to sell as many franchises as we can. And we really didn't know what that even meant. What does that look like? And so as we sit here today, we've sold 5 franchises and we're going to kind of pause for a second, get those open over the next year. Mm-hmm. Those will kind of be scattered all across the country. And what that'll allow us to do is, learn all the mistakes and bumps and bruises along the way, because we've got plenty of them from our current park in Katy, but we'll have more as you open up second location. That's
diversity.
Right. Other things that you have to think about. You're like, oh, okay, that doesn't play here, but does play here. That kind of stuff. So we're gonna do that over the next year and a half, and then look up and prayerfully figure out where to go from there. Do we go grow from 5 to 75? Do we hand it to somebody else to do it? Do we just stay at 5? The opportunities at that point, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I've learning that I'm kind of done planning my strategy. I'll say that's my strategy right there. What I just said to you, that's the current plan. I am learning to hold that extremely loose, because I have no idea when we get done with this, the way the Lord's been working, I could have something on my phone that changes the trajectory, good, bad, or ugly. And we're just going to roll with the punches in, because what I do know beyond a shadow of a doubt is this is his theme park. He's made that very apparent to me through more ways than I could count. So I'm just going to let him run his theme park. I'm going to do my job, show up every day, try to love on people, try to think through the X's and O's, try to cast a vision that he gives me. But other than that, it's going to be his park, and I'm just going to see where it goes from there.
God's plan is so much better than ours.
So much better. And again, right, like there will be a day. I had a buddy of mine tell me one day, we were sitting together at a restaurant, and we were just talking about why this happened to Pierce and that kind of stuff. And he said, hey man, I don't know why, but I am confident of this, that one day, if this is how heaven works in our human mind, that you're going to ask Jesus why. And he's going to put his arm around you and say, look behind you. And all those people there, he's going to go, that's why. And so if that's the case, right, even with my son getting sick and even with my son having special needs, then yeah, you don't have to sit here and go, yeah, God's plan is better than my plan, right? Because if we're truly living for eternity and not for our comfortability here on this earth, which is hard, which is not something I do on a daily basis sometimes, then yeah, God's plan is always better, always better.
Why do you think it's so hard to believe that?
Because our simple mind. Right, like at the end of the day, I've come to understand that we have just such a simple mind. Melissa and I talk about this often. She needs to know how things work. I'm not that smart, and so it's much easier for me to go. I just, I don't know.
It just works.
It just works, right? The chair just sits here. I don't know. I don't understand how somebody built it. And so, but I really do think at the end of the day, that's a lot of times that's the answer. Is there's no way we can comprehend God's plan. So what do? We just go, it's just simpler for me to live to the here and now.
Yeah.
And because I can track that success. I can do that. I, right? Like, and it's easier for us to be in the driver's seat and let God be our co-pilot, right? And that's just much easier because we are simple-minded and we live in a society. A lot of times, I think one of the things in America that that's hurting us as Christians right now is everybody, in the news, wherever we want to talk about persecution and religious oppression and blah, 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 blah. Get out of here with that compared to other parts of the world, right? You and I live in a very safe bubble, right? The worst thing that could happen to you and I this day and age is we get canceled. Awesome. Okay, we're not dying.
Yeah.
We're not getting taken away from our family.
Which means it just amplifies what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. And honestly, what does cancel mean? You got to take a hiatus from social media. It's probably good anyways, right? Like it's probably good for your brain anyways. So I think a lot of times we become our own mini gods, right? And so it's very hard for you and I to comprehend that heaven is better because we live in a great country, live in a great state, we're blessed. It's hard for us to comprehend that everything about God's plan is better than our plan because it takes us out of the control seat. That's the biggest thing I struggle with is control, right? Like, I mean, for the longest time, I didn't want to have more kids after Pierce got sick. After meeting with a therapist, the answer is very simple on why I did not want to have more kids. I didn't want another kid to get sick. All that is control. All it is Jacob trying to control the situation, right? If I don't have another kid, another one can't get sick. That's not sound logic, right? And so we do it all the time, whether we know we're doing it or not. And so I think that's probably most of our problems is we're living for this world rather than for eternity.
Fear, control, outrage. It's amazing how we treat those like they're virtues sometimes and like they are fruits of the Spirit. And they're not. No. They're inversions.
That's right. That's exactly right. Again, I think it goes back to the gray zones, right? Like we live in this fast-paced, high achievement, put your scoreboard on social media world. And listen, we're all guilty of it, right? Like I struggle with all the time. I maybe somebody listening to this can help me co-author this book. My passion is I want to create a book that says, how would Jesus do a startup? Right. And I've got the chapters typed out and all the issues that a startup entrepreneur goes through. Right. The problem is right now it's like 27 chapters. We got to rein it in a little bit. But one of the things is like, how do you even promote your business? How would Jesus promote his business? right? It's hard. Like thinking about like, hey, would Jesus like post on LinkedIn every other day about what his business is doing? I don't know, right? Like I struggle with that. Like as a business owner, that part of my job is to tell our business's story so that people come to our business. Mm-hmm. That's part of my job. Like that, there's nothing wrong with that. That is part of the job. But when does it cross the line of being Jacob glorifying? Right. And so I struggle with that all the time.
Where's the balance?
I have no idea. Right. I'm still in search of this balance of how would Jesus truly run a startup. Right. I mean, people ask me all the time, the people that we hire, my high school kids, their identities are all jacked up right now. Mm-hmm. And they say, why would you employ a kid like that? These are believers asking me these questions. Why would I not want them here? Where would you prefer they go? To work for somebody else that won't show them Jesus? Like I don't know what we're saying.
I don't
when we say
understand the
that,
question.
Right? Like I'm pretty sure if you read through the Gospels, that's exactly who Jesus would have at his dinner parties. Mm-hmm. Unless I'm reading a different gospel, right? Like unless I'm not watching The Chosen or all these kind of things that are trying to put it in real life form, like or today's form, like. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know what that balance is, right? Like I'm truly like in this pursuit of how would Jesus handle sales, right? Would Jesus, I think one of the abilities that God's given me, good, bad, or ugly, is that I can run through walls. Sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes it's a disastrous thing, right? You leave a mess in the way. But is that it's a God-given ability, but also it can get me in trouble. And so how would Jesus pursue sales? Mm-hmm. Would he sit and wait? Would he bust through these walls? And so these are questions that as I drive up and down from Dallas to Houston and back and forth that I ponder often, and really trying to just figure out with Jesus, how do I handle this situation? And so I think back to, like you said, back to those gray zones, right? Trying to figure out how to live in those gray zones and do what Jesus would want me to do. As I've been called as a man, as a leader of my household, as a leader of a business, I am called to do things. I'm not called to just sit and not. And so how do I do those things day in, day out, glorifying Jesus?
What do you say to the guys that are really struggling with that, really struggling with having gone through something very acute as you have, and they just give up? They don't know what the first step is to get out of that pain and to get out of that spiral.
Yeah.
I went through when me and Allison first got married on our honeymoon. Allison had a seizure, first seizure she ever had in Thailand. We were at a hospital that nobody spoke English.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
Come back to MD Anderson, and a month into marriage, she's getting a brain tumor taken out of her brain.
Jeez.
I struggled hard with, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what are steps that I can take to get out of this spiral? Because I am spiraling.
Yep.
Who do I surround myself with? What do I read?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things that we do as men so poorly is talk to other men.
Golly, isn't that true?
Wouldn't it be great if somebody created a ministry that could help men, right? Like that'd be great. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Subscribe to MakeReady. No, but I really do. Like, I mean, man, it took me way too long of a time to go talk to a counselor. There's mentors, yes. You need to go find those people. There are pastors, yes. But man, if we're talking, let's take both you and I as an example, like just really drill down those. If you and I don't go talk to somebody that's trained to help me process what's going on, or help me rethink about what's going on, yeah, you're going to spiral all the time, right? Like Satan wins there. Our inability to fix ourselves, right? Like as men, we're self-fixers. I'm good. I don't need to take Advil. I'm good.
It's this culture of independence. This culture
right.
of independence where we're rugged individuals.
That's
We can do it.
That's right. We can do it. I can do it. Dust off. Get back in the game.
Yeah.
Man, just tough it out.
Rub some dirt in it.
Everybody will be fine. Probably the worst thing you could do for your family.
Absolutely.
Literally, I'm not sure there's anything in like our situation that could be worse to do for your family.
Well, you said it before, like the statistics on people who have gone through something that's acute pain. Divorce is just, it is right there.
One of my great buddies, Tim Chen, and I, we talk about it all the time. We're both of our families. He's got daughters with autism, and we're both at our church, and we're in the special needs ministry, and we go to this Bible study on Wednesday nights. It's supposed to be husbands and wives, right? At this, and the kids are taken care of, and we've got our Bible study. And he and I often talk about one of the top things that stands out to us is how disproportionately there are less men than women in this Bible study, because the men have left. And you look around and you go, oh man, those statistics must just be talking about non-believers. No, like that's not, unfortunately, it's not the case, because what we do is we self-isolate. We think we can fix it, and then ultimately you get to a point that says, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I can't do it. And I failed as a man. I failed as a husband. I failed as a father. My kid, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. So I'm just out of here. I'm going to cut bait and run. And so we do it, rather than running to trying to figure out how to get help. Listen, I didn't sit here running to that. I went kicking and screaming, right? Like I had severe PTSD, still do. I remember nights I couldn't get off the couch. It felt like an elephant was standing on my chest. And it'd be the weirdest triggers that would set me off again. And I could not move off of the couch. There are still things to this day. It's crazy. I can be taking a shower, getting ready for the day, and I can still hear Melissa's screams in my head, and I'll think that it happened again. Right? I can still play that out. And so the mind is a crazy tool. It's one of the greatest things in the world. It's going to be one of the toughest things in the world. I'm also convinced, I have no proof of this, but I'm also convinced that as we study the body more and more, and we can fix heart problems, and I can get you a new heart, I can get you new lungs, I can get you a new kneecap, I can get you all this kind of stuff, we cannot figure the brain out. I'm not sure we ever will be able to, because I also think that's one of the that's one of the most impactful places that God still shows his crazy miracles.
I like that.
Because a heart surgeon gets all the heart credit, right? And a whatever a lung doctor is gets all the credit there for that transplant, and orthopedic surgeons get fix your Achilles and you're back in the game. But the brain, can't quite figure out the brain, right? We always joke in our house, the number one line from neurology is, well, time will tell. And it's kind of like being the weatherman. You don't have to really be right. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of
that's what it was crazy. Like with when Allison was going through that. I mean, they removed a ping pong ball size of material from her brain.
Yep.
And nothing's changed about her.
That's right.
That's just insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They can isolate places of seizures, scoop it out like an ice cream cone, and you can move on. It's crazy, right? So we don't understand the brain. But back to, like, I did not run to a therapist, right? I went kicking and screaming. And then when I got there, started to be able to work on myself, be able to think through things, be able to talk through things, be able to sit down and just convey my like what's really scaring me. Right, to another person, a trained a man, a believer, and really just go open kimono and go, listen, this is what I'm scared of. I failed. I let my kid get sick.
What's the difference between going to a therapist and just a wise counselor person in your life? I mean, is it a training and they just know how to ask questions really well? Yeah,
I think there are things that like there is a clear line of like when you need to go talk to who, right? Okay. Like, I think if you've got like PTSD, I'm not sure there's a mentor out there that can walk you through that.
Somebody has to understand.
Somebody's got to understand what's going on with you psychologically. Somebody's got to understand 17 other things that triggered this. And when you do this and when you solve this, this is what happened. You're like, oh yeah, that's crazy, right? Like I got it. Versus sitting down with wise counsel and going, hey, I don't know how to balance. I mean, I was talking to a guy this morning about it, a guy that you and I both know. I was sitting there and go, man, I just feel like I'm always running out of time. Like I feel like I'm running out of time when it comes to work. I feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like I've lost the race every day. I feel like I've lost the race. I'm not sure I need to go to a counselor for that.
Sure.
I think I can go to a guy who's in his mid-60s. I hope he's in his mid-60s. If you're watching this, I hope you're in the mid-60s.
Aren't you in your mid-60s?
Yeah, I think you are. Man, I really hope that's right. But I can sit there with him and he'd go, hey, listen, I remember being 36. Take a deep breath. I remember feeling like you're going to run out of time. You got plenty of time. And let me tell you about everything that happened in my life from age 36 to 65. A lot. You go, okay, all right. Okay. Take a deep breath. All right, I can be 36 today. I can just be today, right? Kind of going back to what I was saying earlier. We're so bad at like I think that's another thing that Satan works on. It's like visionaries and leaders, whatever. We're great futuristic seers and let's go conquer this hill and that kind of stuff. It's also going to be kryptonite, right? Because we're always thinking about tomorrow.
The what ifs.
That's right. And that's not biblical.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think there are things that when you pull back for a second and you can sit there, and maybe you need counsel around you to tell you if, hey, this is a therapy thing and you need to go talk to somebody, or this is, hey, no, this is go to a pastor, go to a wise business leader in the community, go to an elder of the church, whatever it may be. But we are so poor as men of talking to each other because we are so nervous that the other one's going to think I'm weak. And if we sit there for a second and go, it's almost like I try to like race to the bottom. No, I'm weaker than you are. Mm-hmm. Listen, I struggle with this, and this. Beat that. kind of deal. And I think when we do that, all of a sudden, then you start to see, go, oh, you too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Me too, man. I've been, and all of a sudden, like, then we all leave better. Like, again, what we are trying to do is not rocket science for them.
No, it's not new either.
It's not new.
Yeah.
We are just so poor at it because we are scared to let another guy think we're losing the race. Whatever the race is, we all have our own races. Money, family, kids. My kid's a great athlete. My kid a better athlete than that one? Like, we're racing there. We're racing, how many companies can I sell? What number did I sell it for? So I always tell people the number one thing I hate about this entrepreneurial game and selling businesses, number one thing I hate about it is everybody wants to know what your exit number was.
They want to measure.
What if I told you it was 4X? I've been down this road before. I told somebody we sold for X amount. And they go, well, you know, companies are selling for like this X. Quit moving the goalpost. You know what I mean? Like let's just sit in it for a second and just celebrate, right? And so, but we're always, and again, I'm chief of this. Like, we're always playing some game. And so if we could stop playing a game for a second, then we all be a lot better off.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Yeah. We're always measuring ourselves to other men because we see ourselves as little gods.
That's right.
Who's the better god?
That's right. That's right. I was talking to a mentor yesterday, and we were talking about this same concept of when is enough, right? One of Craig Groeschel's latest podcasts, he had Arthur Brooks on there. He wrote Strength to Strength. He talks about as strivers, and sometimes especially men, more times than not, it definitely can apply to women as well. We don't know how to quantify when enough is enough. That's the problem, right? And I was sitting with this guy, and he was telling me a story about how he was raising money for this ministry. And he said he sat down with the guy asking him for a large donation. The guy didn't want to make it because he was chasing this other guy. And his wife called him out on it. And she said, well, he's never going to write you a check because he's chasing so-and-so. And this guy had to sit here and go, you know you're never going to catch so-and-so, right? Like, you're never going to catch him. He goes, well, and he went on this like diatribe of how he was going to try to catch him. And that's what we do. Like we're always going to find something else that's bigger and better than we are. And that's exactly where Satan wants us to live.
No matter how loud the men at the top of the mountain are shouting down at us,
yes,
it's not worth it.
That's right. I mean, how many of them don't have, like, the statistics, man? Like I'm like chief of this. I can read story. My wife and I right now, we're watching this interesting series on TV. It's like the American dynasties. It's all the families, right?
Like Vanderbilts.
The Vanderbilts, the Bushes, the Kennedys, the Post family. And so far, we haven't gone through all of them. 0 of them have turned out happy. Like, it's just sad story after, like, as the documentary goes on, it just gets sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder. And you're like, what? And then you end and you go, man, I would never want to do that. Then 30 minutes later, you're like, how do I build a dynasty? Right? Like, I mean, I literally just watched it on TV about how everybody's miserable, everybody's divorced, every kid hates each other. There's all this infight and they're all suing each other. And I go, man, what if we built a dynasty? Right?
What if I did the same thing?
It's crazy.
Why?
Right? Like, I mean, it's crazy, but it's exactly where Satan wants us to live. Satan can sit on your shoulder and go, yeah, but if you built a dynasty, it probably wouldn't turn out that way, right? So let's build a dynasty.
You're the exception.
Right, you're the exception.
That's
totally
the whisper. You're the exception.
That's right. It'd be totally fine.
Yeah.
Just do it. And you go, oh, that's right. I can do that. And so as men, man, we have to daily fight against that. I have to daily fight against this invisible scoreboard that nobody cares about. A guy told me one time I was on a trip. He was very successful at Enron. I mean, he had the career of careers, right? And then not so much. And has done very well financially, very well, very successful by all the world's standards. And we were around a lunch table one time. And he said, he's in his 60s. He said, hey, listen, I'm going to tell y'all a secret. He said, somebody told me this one time, and now that I'm in my 60s, I know it's true. He said, you spend your 20s and your 30s trying to figure everything out. You spend your 30s and your 40s trying to prove to everybody that you're awesome. You spend your 50s chasing that dream down. And then in the 60s, you realize nobody was talking about you in the first place. And if we could just sit in that and go, man, I'm building my whole career, everybody's going to see it. And then you get to the end, you're like, nobody gives a flying flip. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. They're all thinking about themselves. They're all thinking the same thing.
They're all thinking
about
the same
themselves.
thing. That's right. We're all so scared of screwing up. I have no idea what so-and-so's doing.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that he's watching me.
Mm-hmm.
And again, how arrogant is that, right? But it's, again, back to the gray zones. That's exactly where Satan wants us to be.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, if we could only get men to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Christian men, I say this all the time. The loneliest place for men today is in the church pew.
Totally.
Where they're not looking left and right.
Yep.
At the other men around them that are feeling the exact same way,
right.
that have different gifts and can fulfill the different. God can use them to fulfill something that they need in their life, and they can be used by God to fulfill something in their life.
That's right. And what's crazy is if we think about this, right? And so if church leaders are out there listening to this, like it's crazy that there's so many, in an amazing way, that there's men's ministries along the way that give you the blueprint on how to do it. Because we're so bad at doing it, we need somebody the blueprint, like have this conversation, now talk about this conversation. And then all of a sudden conversation goes from there, right? Then all of a sudden everybody's
You're just trying to spark something.
But one of your guests a couple episodes ago, he talked about, he was an elder in the church, he was talking about how there's like, all this money that goes to women's ministry events. And there's like zero that goes to men ministry events. And here's the deal. More times than not, I don't know the stat around this. My guess is church staff is mostly male dominated. Think about that for a second. That's crazy that we've got men overseeing the budget and they're going, let's pour, and praise the Lord for it. Let's pour all this money into women's ministries. All right, next item. Nobody brought up, hey, what are we doing for men's ministry?
What are we doing for men's ministry?
And again, we're all bad talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And so if we could figure out a way to just sit down with each other and again, truly just go, hey, listen, I don't know up from down right now. I don't know how to be a good dad. I don't know how to be a good wife or husband, excuse me. I don't know how to be a good husband to my wife. Has anybody been here before? And then you see 5 guys go, yeah, I'm there right now.
Yeah.
I'm there right now. And so that's one of the benefits of I will say selfishly, and again, I'm extremely biased here, so let that be known. The guys that I've met in the special needs ministry, the dads that have stuck around, there is this vulnerability because we cannot sit here and tell you that we have it all figured out. There's no way you can. I've met your kids. You're struggling just the way I'm struggling. You have no idea what to do. You have no idea what to do in 10 years. You have no idea what to do in 15 years. You have no idea. Versus if I can sit over here with my perfect little family and I'm good to go. And I got no issues,
can hide.
Right. So the men that I've met so far along the way, we can be vulnerable, because there's no way I can lie to you that I've got it figured out. Because I don't. And so if we could just figure out how to get to vulnerability quicker, then man, it'd be a lot better.
What's the adage? And I think it's such a good adage that women relate to each other and grow together face to face, and men grow and relate to each other shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
When you were doing, the sports stuff was basically men's ministry.
That's exactly right. It was predominantly men's, right? That were
predominantly men that were doing that. I mean, were you experiencing life change in men and relationship building that was unique in that?
Oh, totally. I mean, think about it, right? Like if I can throw the softball around with you, if I can throw the football back and forth, you know how much it's easier to ask me how you and your wife are doing? And for you to like, I don't know if it's your unconscious mind or whatever it is, right? That you go, man, struggling right now. But if you and I were at lunch, you'd go, yeah, it's great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
And you're like, I would forget that we were fighting on the way in here. We're going to be fighting on the way out here, but no, we're great. But for some reason, I'm throwing football back and forth. All of a sudden, you're like, I
those
don't know,
barriers
man.
come down.
It's crazy, right? Go hunting, go fishing, go do something.
Do something.
Right.
Paint a
you
house.
don't have to literally anything, right? And so you see the walls come down a little bit. I think one of the neatest. He uses it as a ministry tool, but everybody else that partakes in it thinks it's just a networking event. I've got a great banker, and he does these amazing. He calls it the Dad Bod Pickleball Invitational. And so what he does is he handpicks, I think it's like 16 people, that come in February, and then some come in March, and then some come in April, and you play a round robin pickleball tournament. Then you go to dinner afterwards and have dinner and drinks, all this kind of stuff. And then the top 2 teams come back in May for the Dad Bod Championship. Total strangers show up. Amazing friends leave. And we don't just talk about work. Because we're playing pickleball. I don't even know your name when you walk out there. I shake your hand. You're my pickleball partner, or I'm playing against you. By the end of the night, 3 hours later, I'm telling you what I'm struggling with, what I'm afraid of. And I don't even know if you love Jesus, right? But what it allows us to do as men is I see you just in a different light, right? We're kind of guards down, playing pickleball. I'm seeing you whiff, right? I'm seeing you not be great at it. And like, fine, that's great, right? You're seeing me screw up. You're seeing me winded, whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden we can sit down and eat pizza and hang out afterwards in this really cool setting. And we're not just looking at balance sheets.
That's interesting. The fact that men can perceive other men being okay with their own insufficiency.
Yeah, that's right.
And sports, especially like church sports, softball, all those things provide the opportunity for that to happen.
That's right. It's exactly right. I mean, these guys get out there, and there's some of them. Matt Aycock, phenomenal pickleball player. I got to be on his team at the end, which is amazing. best thing in the world. Then
what does a great pickleball player look like?
Yeah. Just kick your butt and everything. Then you got Dan over here, who's terrible. I don't care.
And they're both having a blast.
And you know what? I enjoy talking to Dan afterward. Like, it's not like I'm sitting here like, well, I'm only going to talk to Matt because he's good at pickleball. No, who cares at that point, right? Like, I don't know. That's not the point. The point is it's all walls go down. All walls go down. And we can just talk now. And again, I don't even know. Here's what's sad is I have some better conversations at those events with guys I don't even know if they're believers or not than I do at church sometimes. And I just met these guys 30 minutes ago. And so there's something sad about that, and there's something interesting about that. And so if we could do more things like that, where we just think outside the box for a second, and just create an environment where we don't have to we can compete each other at pickleball, but we're not competing at these fake things, right? Where do you live? Because what we're doing is we're sizing each other up right there, right? What kind of car do you drive, right? Like how many businesses have you sold? Like all these kind of things that who put on these who cares categories, right? Because again, if we go back to these dynasties or whoever, then the question would be like, are you still together with your wife? Probably not, right? Do your kids even like you? Kind of deal. And again, we know those things are coming if we chase this over here. And yet Satan's right on our shoulder, and we can chase these things. All in pursuit of like, well, I'm going to provide for my family though. Yeah, you can do that. You can do those things. You can work hard. You can do exactly what Jesus has called you to do exceptionally well. And I'm convinced you can be a good husband and a good father because I've seen men in front of me do it. And so those are the guys that I'm chasing.
Golly, I love that, dude. Jacob, this has been awesome.
Dude, thank you.
What do people need to know about Dig World that we haven't talked about?
Come to the park. Come to the park. Yeah, so we're, like I said, currently in Katy. We'll be in Dallas soon, Austin soon. Some other states coming. So you can, stay tuned to our social media for that. But yeah, no, would love to just host you, right? Like if you're at the park, please tell me. Like I'd love to meet you. I'd love to host you. Come to the park in Katy, and you can be a kid of all ages, right? Can come and enjoy the park.
All right, I love it. Until next time.
Thank you, man.
And that's that.